Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. My name is Noreen Kidunduhu, advocate of the High Court of Kenya, currently pursuing my master's in international energy law and policy at the University of Dundee. It gives me great pleasure to contribute to the discussions around the topic of the day, albeit virtually. My paper is titled Why Renewable Energy is Not the Panacea for Energy Security. And I guess a good place to start would be to ask ourselves, what is energy security and what does energy security entail? Energy security receives very little conceptual attention despite the fact that it is mentioned numerously in books and literature, and it is discussed widely in schools and forums such as this one. Energy security has no satisfactory quantitative or quantifiable definition. There are no figures associated with energy security. You cannot say to a country that when you have X amount of energy, then you have attained energy security. And for this reason, different countries associate and attach different meanings to energy security depending on their location, depending on the resources that they have within their borders, depending on their economic disposition and political systems. For instance, energy importing countries will associate energy security with security of supply and low prices of energy, whereas energy exporting countries will associate energy security with security of demand. The guarantee that their production will be purchased over a long period of time and at a reasonable price. Now, despite the fact that energy security lacks a precise definition, there are certain pillars and components that are agreed across the globe to constitute energy security, and these are reliability and availability of supply, affordability of supply, reliability of supply infrastructure, that is the wires, the lines, and the pipes, and also national self-sufficiency, that is a decreased dependence on imports. There is now an additional pillar to energy security that is gaining traction with the increased awareness of greenhouse gas emissions, and that is environmental sustainability. Now, from these pillars that make up energy security, it is clear that supply is a great component and an important aspect of energy security. And so it comes as no surprise that energy security is used to champion renewable energy systems. And the reason for this is twofold. One is that renewable energy sources do not suffer the risk of exhaustibility. So as long as they are deployed and developed sustainably, they can supply energy for a long period of time. The other reason is that renewable energy sources ensure stable supply through diversification of sources and diversification of the energy mix. But there are a few disbenefits of renewable energy to energy security that are never discussed and are never considered when we're discussing the impact of renewable energy on energy security. One is that, when renewable energy is initially introduced into an energy system, energy security increases because there is diversification of sources. However, increased use of renewable energy leads to domination of renewables in energy production. This domination results in a monopoly, and this monopoly results in high prices. High prices are incompatible with energy security. Another issue is that it is always assumed that renewable energy is a domestic resource and that utilization of renewable energy will result in a decreased dependence on imports. However, the availability and distribution of renewable energy sources is country specific. Not all countries are endowed with renewable energy sources. This means that the countries that are less endowed with renewable energy sources will be forced to import renewable energy, and they'll be dependent on supplying countries. So import dependency again is incompatible with energy security. The other issue is the intermittency of renewable energy sources. Sources such as wind, solar, hydro are associated with seasonal and weather changes. This means that they are variable. They vary depending on the season that the season that we're in, or the weather patterns. And even when their variability is predictable, the rate of change is not. Also, feedstocks that are used to produce biofuel are also subjected to seasonal cycles. So, this variability of renewable energy sources leads to uncertainty with regard to capability of meeting demand. And of course, uncertainty of capacity of meeting demand is incompatible with energy security. The last issue is infrastructure reliability. The equipment used to generate, to store, and to distribute renewable energy is manufactured from metals and minerals that are exhaustible. And additionally, these metals and minerals are concentrated in the hands of very few countries. So the supply of these minerals will have a direct impact on the supply of energy. And when there is disruptions in energy supply, there'll definitely be insufficient energy security. And so, although renewable energy has the potential to contribute to energy security, its contribution should not be considered as a vacuum. And this paper is not against renewable energy. It's actually a call to countries, to governments, to industries, to researchers and academics to now have more papers, more debates, more discussions on how to deal with the security disbenefits of renewable energy. How do we deal with the issue of the monopoly threat, when increased use of renewable energy results in domination of renewable energy in an energy system? How do we deal with the issue of import dependency for the countries that have scarce or low renewable energy resources? We need to also start discussing how do we deal with the variability of renewable energy sources, and also how do we deal with the fact that the critical inputs for manufacturing renewable energy technologies are exhaustible. And that really is the sum of my presentation, that the discussion needs to move beyond just saying that renewable energy is the solution to energy security, but looking at the disbenefits of renewable energy sources and finding ways around it so as to attain energy security in its widest sense. Thank you for your time.